Dear Father, Mother God, we thank you for allowing us to be channels of light, love, and healing. We ask that all energy that flows through me today be grounded in Mother Earth, for she, in fact, is the living healer. I call on my guides and my angels to speak to me now. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, all that is. Hi, it's Anita. How's your Mercury retrograde going? Okay, well, this is supposed to be a really crazy one, but it'll be over by the 10th, so no problem there. Some of us here have had a few little things like car trouble and this and that, but nothing really major, so I hope you guys are doing good too. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, if you watched the video that we sent out last week about heart math, is my experience with heart math, and Robert's also. A few years ago, we were exposed, or we got information about heart math, and we were all excited about it, and we bought these little gadgets, apps and things like that to monitor, monitor our heart rate, not rate, but the amount of love, energy in our heart, and we even sold them in the store for a little while. But, you know, I'm always saying to know and not to do is not to know. So, somewhere along the line, I, forgot about that. And recently, when Dr. Rosman was in town, I said to Robert, I think it's time for us to renew our information about heart math. And because one of the things we're doing with Dr. Joe Dispenza is brain coherence. So he's taken heart math and heart coherence, and he's, of course, a scientist, and he's figured out how to link that with the brain and have brain and heart coherence. So that's what we're up to. Why would anybody want to do this? Just to feel better, okay? We're all hoping to get enlightened someday and feel unconditional love for everything and everyone in the universe. But the reality of that is it's not everybody's there, okay? So what do you do in the meantime, okay? And one of the things that Dr. Rossman was explaining, how there's a part of our brain, this little thing called the amygdala, okay? And that little part, it has recorded maybe something that happened to us in our childhood, or PTSD, or something. Okay, there's some little thing in there, and sometimes we get triggered by just something happening today that might trigger that memory in the amygdala. Okay, and what do we do to not react to that? Because one of the things is anger. People get angry for sometimes the littlest things, and it's a big deal, and it's not really a big deal. And I always say, Holy Spirit, help me look at this differently. And usually in a few minutes, I get a different idea about whatever it is that's going on, okay? Because we all have our ups and downs and things we have to deal with every day in our life, okay? So what do we do? Okay, when we get triggered? And one of the things that we learned is how we can go into our heart, okay? We can do this meditation and breathe this love into our heart. And for me, it was very interesting, because when I went to this all-day seminar, I'm recovering my arm. It's doing a lot better, but sometimes just sitting, gives you pain, gives me pain. And I was noticing that while I was sitting in the seminar. And then we did this heart math exercise, and all of a sudden, what I realized was the pain left. So I'm not a scientist. I don't know how that's all connected. All I know is it works for me. And ever since, I've been, if I have a challenge, or if I feel myself maybe getting a little angry or a little upset about something, I just do this, and pretty soon I'm smiling, okay? So I want to share that. and Robert was there with me, you know. Funny thing, Robert bought Sophie a Barbie doll. Barbie has a meditating Barbie doll, okay? So we gave this to her yesterday. She's still not feeling 100%, and she's getting over an illness too. And so this Barbie doll is incredible. It has a little spot here where that you press, and its heart lights up. And that's what I was thinking, looking at my heart feels like that when I do heart math. Okay, so the doll's heart lights up, and then it says positive affirmations, and it can lead the child through a meditation. It's an amazing thing, you know. So we're becoming more and more aware, okay, and science is catching up, and the world is, the planet is evolving where things that were not mainstream before are starting to become mainstream. Okay, so but I want Robert to explain. Robert's always on the other side of the camera, but I've invited him to come in and sit next to me. So this is Robert, my beloved, that you hear me talk about all the time. And Robert, tell us about your heart math experience.
So obviously I'm the technical guy, and that's you know, a lot of men are, and I like to really look at something and find out, is it working or not? And there's a lot of meditation type of things that are out there, and my mind is always, am I doing it right? Am I getting the results? My mind is always very active. So HeartMath has an app that you put on your phone, and then has a ear sensor, a clip on your ear that monitors your pulse. And so the way that you find out if you're meditating correctly or where it's being effective for you is that it calms your heart rate, and your heart rate becomes rhythmic in a regular pattern, okay? Instead of bump, 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 bump. So an irregular pattern, it's more like a metronome. So it will be a very consistent beat. It might speed up a little bit, but it's not, you know, there's a flow to it, like the ocean, where it speeds up and slows down. But between each beat, it's a regular gap. Okay. So this software monitors that. That's one of the things that HeartMath is all about. We sent you the video last week about the HeartMath experience, which is a video presentation, which if you have Gaia, it's free to watch on there, and I'd strongly recommend it. Just talk to you about this technology. And then the third thing I wanted to bring up was the fact that they have these sensors all over the world now that monitor the energy of the planet. These are based on random number generators. And so as a computer guy, a random number generator means you ask it for a number from 1 to 1,000,000, and it always gives you an unpredictable random number, right? But these random number generators are affected by the human psyche, by the human consciousness. There's something affecting these. It almost feels like to me like we're going through the back door right now. We found something that will tell us what's going on, but it's like a symptom of it. It's not the real thing. And that is what's happening there, is that these random number generators will start being less random. They'll be more predictable. They'll actually change in their randomness. And there's nothing that will explain that except that the energy field created by all the humans on the planet is actually creating something, right? And it's affecting these random number generators that should be extremely consistent. So what they found out is that these have predicted that these random number generators have started to show a pattern of not as randomness, like, for example, before 9/11, like several hours before the attacks of 9/11, these random number generators were already showing a unusual pattern that then leveled off at the end of the day. And then there was another study that they showed, the computer screen. It's an individual test. You're sitting in front of a computer screen, and the computer is showing you pictures, right? And the randomly selected pictures by the computer, and you don't know what the next picture it could be. It could be a ghastly, horrifying image, or it could be a nice, fluffy, bunny image, right? And you don't know as the participant. And the computer doesn't know until the last moment when it picks the image and then puts it on the screen. That's when it happens. So prior to that, seconds before that, a measurable time before the picture is displayed on the screen, the person's body is reacting to the picture that hasn't even been selected yet. So there's some very fascinating things from a technical standpoint that I really got a lot out of this presentation. It kind of explains to me how I can meditate more effectively with some of these tools. I can get some feedback that's telling me, good job, you know, you're doing it right. I did feel, you know, confidence, and from this presentation I got a lot of ideas and confidence of it. And it was very interesting how all these things tie together. If you do have a chance to see the HeartMath experience, there's ways you can download it or rent it, or if you're a Gaia member, you can see it for free. And I'd strongly recommend it. So those were the things that I picked up. Obviously, I have the technical brain, and these are the things that I clued in on. But Anita has a different spin, but we experienced this together. And it was interesting, the things that we picked from that presentation. So. And
by us doing it together,
yeah,
we know
we can share those. Yeah,
we can share when the other person it might be better for the other person to think about that.
Right.
I've given Robert privilege to say, if you see me doing something and I might need to go into my heart, please let me know.
Right.
Okay, please tell me. So anyway, it's been good for us to do it together. So that's what we have to share with you today. We hope you have a great week. I know there's a lot of controversy out there and a lot of fear stuff going on with disease and you know, take everything with a grain of salt, because the you know how the news media overreacts to a lot of things, but because that's the news. Okay, but so try to stay positive and in your heart, and you know, just try to do a little exercise, a little breathe the energy into your heart, breathe, and then let it go, and do that a few times and just see how it feels. Okay, so have a great heartfelt week.